Ay, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshon and they talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back. We are back like we left the oven on, and it is definitely about to be hot in this joint. Listen, we got brain cakes for days in this piece. All right, you heard what I'm saying to you? Listen. If you haven't already, I'm gonna start the episode with this. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. All right, so that you can get notifications when notifications come out, so that you can get the content once the content comes out. All right. This is the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis,
and I can see.
You can see,
baby. No more goggles. This is Key.
Wait, hold on. You can't start up like
No more anime shine off the glasses like how they usually do.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start off a little bit different.
I want to ask you, how you doing?
Huh?
How you doing? You good?
Man, I'm great.
Okay.
I'm great. I'm loving life. You know what I mean? Steady growth.
Okay.
I'm not despising small beginnings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So yeah. So I want to start off with producer cues because that was Junie had some questions that he wanted to ask on Monday.
Okay. He should have said something.
Well, no. I told him we probably might not have time to get to that.
It? Okay.
I didn't kibosh it. Don't say it like that.
I mean, you know, I should tell you before we even get going. Producer, I'm raw. I'm slightly pissed off.
Wait.
Producer's walking away. I'm slightly pissed off. I'm on vacation.
You need the Butt Blaster 3000?
No Booty Blaster 3000. What that is, people, is this
I'm gonna go
thick pad.
Bring it here.
Go get that. Go get it.
Bring it here.
Go get it. We gotta go get it.
You better sit your tushy down and not
See the tush.
That ain't not.
This man said tushy.
The tushy.
Sit your tushy down. No. All right.
Flip
This
to your dad.
is the Booty Blaster 3000.
Flip it over. Booty Blaster 3000. Show him the thickness. Look at that.
The thickness is crazy. Nah.
It is crazy.
Look how
high I be sitting
squishy
up.
this is.
Matter of fact, pass it over here. Look how high. If I put this thing on,
Bro.
I'm way up here. I'm not even in the shot no more. This is what I come into.
You don't
every
have a
time.
hat anymore. Where's
I
your
have
hat?
no hat. I have the brim. It's a visor.
Put that away, bro.
It's the Butt Blaster 3000. You'll never, ever have
Leave
to
home
worry
without
about
it. That was a shameless plug. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I am actually pissed off, and I can't wait to tell you guys why. I can't wait. So we're gonna go to producer cues, but I wanted to head it off with that.
Let's get these questions in. I need to find out why you mad. What's up? What do we got? What do we got?
You got a test too?
Yeah, right.
Is he the New York State Lottery guy?
Is this thing on?
A little aggravated, y'all. Kind of annoyed. And I got some questions.
Get to the questions.
I have answers.
Please.
Please, sir.
Please,
Give me the
producer.
questions, sir.
Give us the questions now.
This is not Harry Potter, okay? We're not.
Please, sir.
I'm like just a Harry Potter. You already know.
Just ask the questions, please.
Key.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question that needs to be answered.
I hope I can answer to your liking.
Why do teams, especially GMs, coaches, decide to put their players on the field or on the court, especially when they're hurt? My thing is, I'm watching the basketball game.
No, we not talking basketball right now.
Listen,
Is this a football question?
Listen. This question.
It goes both ways.
Exactly.
But it works better for you when you started basketball. I got it.
Right.
Okay.
So
He being real nice right now. Come on.
I'm watching the basketball game. I'm watching the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Dame is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He has an Achilles. Coach says, go ahead and play. Dame is hurt. I'm sorry. Giannis is out. He's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
My issue is it's the playoffs. I get that you have to have your players playing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're hurt, why do you really
still
think
playing
it's
them?
huh?
Why are you still playing them?
Yes. So and it's the same thing with football. So my question is, if you were the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Josh is hurt but not really, and he's still okay to play, would you rest him or would you let him play?
What is the kick to that? What coaches used to say to me all the time, are you hurt or are you injured? If you're hurt, you're playing.
Yep.
If you're injured, no, you can't. That that's a cartilage tear. That's a strain of a major ligament in your knee, or that's a blurred vision because you got poked in the eye real bad, or your jaw has been broken, or something like that. Are you injured or are you hurt? Are you scratched up? Are you scuffed? Did you sprain your ankle? And what's the ramifications of the game? Are we talking about Game 7 of the NBA Finals where LeBron James has a sprained ankle, and you're talking about starting who's his backup? Exactly. Or are you talking about, Daquan Jones, we'll say in football, who's got some tenderness in his pec, and we need that because we're playing against a run heavy team.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to play, man. You got to play.
It is what it is.
You got to play.
But my thing is that like not that he's hurt, because he pulled it. He came down on the same leg, on the same part where he tore his Achilles. Well, he didn't necessarily tore all the way, but he made it worse enough where he can't play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. I think the frustration, it seems like the frustration is, why go back out there if you were already hurt?
Exactly.
And you can potentially make your being hurt turn into an injury.
Right.
Okay.
That happened to Jamal Murray 2 years ago. He had a bad quad, went out there and ended up tearing his ACL. I mean, he was trying to play through it. Probably got some of these guys. They get word they shouldn't play. They get advice from the medical doctors. Mm. They get advice. They get they get the consequences of what may happen should they play, or if they sit down, what could happen. And based on that information, the coaches and the player, sometimes the coaches make the decision for the player when the player says, "I had a concussion, I'm good." Why do you think they come out with the concussion protocol? Because these guys are trying to hide this stuff. Guys dislocate a finger, they snap it back in, and they go right back into play.
Right.
So I mean, it's up to the severity of the injury. It's up to the situation that you're in when you're talking about said player. There's a lot of variables that go into whether or not the person's going to play or not. But I can tell you right now, everybody's hurt, and that's real. Mm-hmm. When you play basketball, even you're always hurt. Halfway through the season, you're sore, you're beat up, you're bruised, you're swollen, but you got to push through.
Yeah, I think to a lesser degree too, when you're talking about the way that the players think, especially in football. Basketball guys got more of a hold on their positions, right? Mm-hmm. Especially the stars. Mm-hmm. But in the game of football, mm-hmm. any given down, a player can turn from an average player to a superstar in a hot second. Let one guy catch a ball and go 80 yards. And then come back out and do it again. Yep. And have a great game. Now all of a sudden everybody in them stands is talking about, well, man, we need to play him more.
Dawson Knox.
Exactly. Yeah. That quickly turned into, Quentin Morris looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yep. you know what I'm saying?
Who's this Kincaid kid? Wow, wait, he's number one now.
Tommy Sweeney looks like he might grow into something.
That's a player, yeah.
So yeah, I think in football that's where that comes from, where guys is like, yo, if it hurts but I can still play, the doctors clear me, I'm going out there because I am not finna lose my opportunity, my chance at the money that I'm currently making for somebody taking my spot and convincing this franchise that I'm less valuable and he's more valuable.
Yeah, we could swing it to the Bills. Trey White, you think he was banging on the field because he was hurt? No.
Right.
He knew what it meant. Yep. He knew he was done here. And all that comes flooding to the surface. He wasn't in pain. I mean, he may have been in some pain, but you're in shock. When I blew my knee out, it was ugly. But I didn't care about my knee. I remember laying on the ground saying, I'm never going to play ball again. I kept saying, I'm never going to play basketball again. That's all I kept saying. I didn't care about what my leg looked like. Don't look at it. I don't care what it looks like. I'm never going to play again. So I think that's kind of what you have to think about when you're looking at the players as the decisions are made. You know, like I said, the situation severity and the ramification consequences of the action.
Yeah. You got another question, or was that it?
No, that was just one question that kind of made me mad, but
okay,
I'm good. So
hey, you know, we might revisit.
All right. Let's. Oh yeah, we live. That's right, we live. Rich, we out here. No, we not Team McDermott though. We definitely not Team McDermott.
Yo,
well,
why does
I
he
don't want to
do
speak
that?
for everybody. Is there anybody in here that's Team McDermott?
No.
Team McDermott? No, I'm Team Bills.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Team Bills.
I don't even watch football, so
There you go. All right. So nobody in this room currently is Team McDermott except Rich. All right. So you are highly pissed off about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to know what that is stat.
oh Lord,
I'm going to do a slow scroll.
Oh, boy.
So, listen to 550 today, right?
Oh, boy. That's your first mistake.
No. Well, actually, yeah, it was my mistake. It turned my day upside down.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you heard of Evan Lazar from the New England radio personality realm said the Bills refused to trade with the Pats in the division because they were in the division. The Pats wanted to move up to 32 to draft. He's saying he thinks it was either for he's saying he thinks it was for Leggett.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks the Pats really wanted Leggett, so they were willing to move to 32 and pay. How do you say it? Let me see what I put here. A division tax. You see what I put in capital letters on it right here? And I'm not going to say it because I can't. It's a family show. But WTF?
I mean, we already got the other segment.
Yeah. Fuck you mean? You're right.
bro.
You're right. So. In Bean's presser, did he not say
it's so perfect?
I wasn't afraid of dealing with the Chiefs? Did he not say I even was willing to talk to people in our division?
No, you know what he said? He said they called. They had prior knowledge that Carolina might want to get back in to the first round to get a player.
Yeah.
And Bean said they called Carolina to see if they were still interested in moving up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that trade came about.
Yeah, the Patriots called us.
Right.
And we're willing to give us more than fair value for 32. But we gave the Chiefs fair value for 28. So you full of it. You're full of it. And I'm pissed off because what have I been saying since the draft? There was a way to get more than what they got.
Exactly.
You have to get more than face value from a team that's been kicking you back in.
Right.
They've been kicking you back in for years on end since McDermott's been here.
I think what it came down to, because when and this makes sense now, when Brandon Bean says, "Well, if we didn't make the trade, they were just going to trade with somebody else."
Mm-hmm.
When you think about that statement and the mindset behind that statement, that says, "I got an opportunity to get a third round pick."
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take that shot. At this point, I prefer the pick rather than my pride at this point.
I could see him saying, we'll give you a second for that. Man, I really want that third, though.
Right.
Like, fam, we can't be doing business like this. This is not how you build a contender.
Hey, Lindsay's back.
Hey!
What's going on, Lindsay?
We can't be doing business like that. Go ahead. Go.
She says, who's the mystery pick? That's kind of a play on words. There's the mystery pick. We'll get into that. I promise. We haven't talked about that yet. Steve wrote in, that's false. Pats wanted Keyshon. My source at NBC in New England ties told me I don't want to drop names, but he's on TV.
Well, no, I mean honestly, it doesn't matter who they wanted. The point was they wanted to move up, and they were looking for ways to get into the first round.
Right.
And the Bills decided to go with a team that gave them less than extra in favor of a team that was willing to give a lot more than they needed to give.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Keyshon or not. What I'm saying is you say we look for somebody that gives, that's fair for us and fair for them. Damn fair for us and fair for them.
Well, do you think this matters? Because for as much as Bean and other people try to vouch for Bean and say, well, We don't know who these teams want to take when they want to trade up. They don't tell us.
Right.
They have to. They have to know. They're either asking on the phone call or they already have a spy that then got the information to them already on who they're gonna take.
Keon Coleman is not. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. Like, do you think this is a situation where, the Bills make the trade with the Chiefs because they knew they were trying to move up for Worthy and they just didn't care. They didn't want Worthy. And then on top of that, does that play a role into why the Bills don't make the trade with New England because they knew that the Patriots wanted Keon Coleman?
If that's the case, that's a straw man's argument. Because I mean, if you're all in on Keon Coleman, then you're all in on Keon Coleman. But no, if you have an opportunity to get those draft picks, you mean to tell me that whatever they were offering isn't better than Keon Coleman? Whatever they're offering isn't better than what you could have got there. I mean, if they're offering, okay. So
give me an example of what you think would be, because now I think there might be a group of people out there that are saying, I don't know if there was something better than Keon Coleman at that point at 33. Or even at 32, like even if the Bills would have stayed at 32 and just picked there, I don't think there was.
He said they could have moved back, further into the 40s and 50s. We didn't want to do that. But I mean, the point is, Keon Coleman is not Malik Neighbors. Keon Coleman is not Rumor Doomsday. He's not. Who's the other guy? Marvin Harrison Jr. Keon Coleman is a nice piece to have. However, Keon Coleman is not worth saying, nope, we're not doing business with you because you're in a division. After you just got finished saying we were open to do business with anybody. And the team openly said we're willing to give him extra to get what we needed. You want a draft pick. You want capital, right?
Yeah.
Walk it like you talk it. You always preach about how can you, if you want a deal that's fair for you and fair for them, how can you turn down a good deal like that if they're offering extra? They're offering extra. So you're telling me Keon Coleman is worth more than whatever you could have got for those extra picks. That's my point.
What would be funny? What would be really, really funny is if we held Brandon Beane's feet to the fire and he goes, No. There's no way in hell that I'm trading with the Patriots ever again in life. That team kicked our ass for 20 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine if that was his reason why?
You like, fam. You just traded to a team that kicked your butt.
Exactly.
The whole time being in Buffalo.
That I was trying to make. Yep.
So what are you really doing?
Yep.
What are you getting at? And I mean, I believe Steve when he says that they wanted Keon, but Steve said last show he blew a gasket. Where's the playmaker? So what did we really do? What did we really miss out on?
Yep.
So that tells you about your front office. Your front office is doing stuff like this. You got fleeced. We're gonna get fleeced because you freaking pick and choose who you want to do deals with.
Oh, Rich, why did you say that? Oh man, I was feeling good inside. I had energy, and you just gonna go and say some stuff like this. This man says Coleman will be the best rookie wide receiver. Like, do you just want to stop the show right now? Do you want to just go to his house?
Nah, let's move on to whatever else you had. Let's move on to whatever you
just gloss right over that. Okay,
we're gonna gloss right over that.
All right. So here we go, Lindsay. The mystery pick, right? So the reason I called this draft pick a mystery pick was because when the Bills picked him, it was kind of like a, huh? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? At the time when they picked him, it wasn't a glaring need. It wasn't a player that you would think the Bills would pick in the third round, which is usually a round that you can get a halfway decent, starter.
Oh, you mean the kind of player that you could trade with Jacksonville and get trade with the Patriots and get a premium for and not pick? Is that what you mean? That kind of player? You mean somebody you could trade up into the third, maybe even get another second rounder for? Is that kind of player you're talking about? That can't be it, right? You know what? I've watched so much film with this dude. I've watched so much film, and I'm trying to like his game. I'm trying to like his game. I wish somebody would tell me exactly what it is right now because I can't put my finger on it. I'm gonna keep watching.
So the mystery pick is Dwayne Carter.
Is it really?
Right.
No.
Now, so what they were saying, and this is what I heard today. I forgot what show I was watching that they were talking about this on, but they were saying that they liken his football IQ to Kyle Williams. right? And one of the things that they said about Kyle Williams was at a level in his football IQ where he was calling out pass rush plays on the fly. He was given the flexibility and the authority to make pass rush calls on the fly, audibles, all that kind of stuff, when he was there. Now, what's kind of weird about this, excuse me, what's kind of weird about this is they only knew Kyle Williams for 1 year. And, you know, obviously we knew Kyle Williams longer than that. And when I say them and we, them is, you know, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. They only had a chance to work with him for 1 year. He retired after 2017, right? So you get to know him a little bit. You see his high football IQ, and you trust him to make, you know, defensive line calls on the fly. And then Dwayne Carter comes along, and you've kind of made up in your mind that he's got the same football IQ. That's the kind of guy we need on this team, albeit in the third round.
Yeah, can I go now?
Yes, please.
That's cute. That's real cute. Kyle Williams, 12-year man, Buffalo Bills only, Buffalo's favorite, Buffalo's beloved.
Yep.
And you're talking about a guy who's going to be backing up, not only Ed Oliver, but backing up Daquan Jones, backing up whoever else they draft next year when they draft another DT. This guy is a back up. Kyle Williams, who's not on a playoff roster. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Kyle Williams ever on a team where they said, this team's a Super Bowl team?
No.
So he's a backup. You're comparing him to a guy who was a starter on a team that did nothing. You're comparing him to a guy who made one postseason? He
was the best defensive player on a team that pushed Mario Williams out of position. Because that's what we're really talking about here. That's when he really became a star. As soon as Mario Williams got out of position, then it was Kyle Williams had to step up. Then after they went back to in even front, then Kyle Williams was like that dude. He was, you know, he had the high football, like he was making plays. He kind of became a playmaker like really late into his career. And that's not what I'm trying to do with Dwayne Carter. I'm not trying to wait until year 8 or 9 or something like that to start getting those pop plays out of this dude. Because I remember when we first got Kyle Williams, he was all right.
All right.
But
it took a while. It took a while.
Right. It took a long while. Mm-hmm. So my question is, how do you justify? And I think you're pretty much saying this. How do you justify drafting a player that you see having the same IQ level as a Kyle Williams in his 8th, 9th, and 10th year? Did he play 10 years? I don't think he played 10 years. He played 12 years? Okay. 12 years. Yeah, a player that you saw in his 12th year, right? You're going to liken a rookie to that guy and draft him in the 3rd round because you think he's got that kind of an arc? I don't want that arc.
Right. I mean, if you're gonna have a Kyle Williams on this iteration of the Bills, he's a backup. I know we love Kyle. Kyle's a good guy, but let's call it what it is. He's a backup,
right?
On a team that's going to Super Bowl. He's not the kind of guy that's gonna start on any team in the league. Leave Buffalo. Everybody wants him for his on-field production. He had 1 year where he had more than 5.5 sacks. He had 1 year, double-digit sacks. I think it was 2013. I believe Mario Williams was on that team. I think that was the year everybody except for, was it Jerry Hughes had double-digit sacks?
Yep.
So
the only person that didn't have double-digit sacks was the guy playing next to Kyle Williams.
Right.
That was it.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not here to slam Kyle Williams. That's not my point. But the point is, that's not lofty. It's not lofty achievements to be in the ilk of a guy who was lauded and hugged, embraced in the locker room where you just barely made the playoffs because of Andy Dalton to Tyler Boyd. That's the only reason. If you look at that locker, everybody said we wanted it for Kyle. Why? Because Kyle's been on a team of tryhards, a team of never good enoughs, a team of non-success for 11 years.
The best of the underdogs.
The best of the underdogs. It was like Brian Moorman and then Kyle Williams. That was the order of talent on the Bills.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a few comments rolling in here. All right. So, Lindsay, we'll get to that in 1 second. I want to finish off the Dwayne Carter thing, and then we'll get to that rumor. Steve says it was a terrible draft to not go get Thomas Jr. or 2 wide receivers when the class was so deep with in elite talent and the QB class that pushed talent down. Drafts are not like this, and to leave with a number three wide receiver, sad.
Steve, I can tell you, I'm with you, and I gave him a B+ because there were a couple of reasons why I gave him a B+. Was I excited about the draft? It was better than usual for me, and I think that's pretty sad because it wasn't a great draft by standards compared to other teams, but it was a great draft by McDermott and Bean standards.
Right.
So that's why I give him a B+ because it's a curve. However, like Steve said, where was the second wide receiver? Where was the investment? Keon Coleman was your guy.
Well, I think so. I was thinking about this too. That means they have to like the guys that they got, like Mac Hollins, Quentin Cephas,
yep.
and Justin Shorter. They're looking at those guys as if they've got a shot.
Tyro Savers, that's the one. That's the kind of one. He's like that. I'm going to say it because I don't believe it to be true. So I'll disregard that. Redact it from my statement. But yeah, no, these guys that we're talking about, this is, like you said, you have to love them. You have to.
Right, but that's the tough part because then the conversation becomes very similar to the conversation of a guy that just got some respect back from me in Levi Wallace because he never really had any real competition at the number 2 corner spot. He got a bunch of old veterans that weren't going to be able to do what he could do for the defense, and in a way, he was just gifted the position, right? So really, any of the guys that come in and get this number 2 wide receiver spot, it's like, can we really trust that they won the spot when most of their competition wouldn't really be in competition for a number 2 wide receiver spot anywhere else? Like, the only people that should have a shot at this thing is Quentin Cephas and Curtis Samuel. Those are the only 2 guys that should have a shot at that outside spot. I know we like Mac Hollins. No, you're right. If he somehow wins that position over Curtis Samuel, I will be absolutely shocked.
Can you imagine a world where we have 2 6'4" wide receivers that run sub 4?
That was a dream I had 15 years ago, back when big receivers were a thing.
Well, see, that's the thing. Even when I made Sunflower and Shabazz, they still were faster than 4 or 5. So, I mean, everybody talks about it, and that's what I said in the show before the draft, where I said if we take Keon Coleman, it tells me what we're running.
Yeah.
But even though it tells me what we're running, I still don't see a world where you can have 2 of the same wide receivers of that ilk on the other side. You can't. There's no way.
Right.
Because there's no deep threat at all. And I don't think, do they really want one? I don't think so.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
I don't think they want a deep threat.
It seems like they want to be very physical. They want to be big. And they want to make people miss after the catch. So here's what the offense is going to look like. Because I was watching another podcast and it's not a Buffalo podcast, but they were talking about Diggs' stats and how he had over 100 receptions all 4 seasons.
Who's this? Or are you talking about? It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't remember the show. Yeah, cool. But they were talking about how he had 100 receptions all four seasons, but in his last season he had a lot less yards, right? Now, how that correlates to the point that I'm trying to make is I don't think they are looking at their receivers and saying, we're gonna have we could possibly have 2 or 3 guys have 1,000 yards next season. I don't think that's the case. I think what they're looking at is in just air yards. I think the receivers we'll probably have 2 or 3 receivers, and I'm including tight ends, that'll have 500 air receiving yards, and then everything else after that they will have to make for themselves. So that basically means it's going to be a lot of short stuff that these receivers are going to have to turn into big gains. And what does that really speak to? That speaks to let's play it safe. Let's do the safe throws. because shorter throws are low. They're higher percentage throws. Right. That's all the stuff that Brian Daboll used to do to get Josh Allen like in game mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what he used to do to get him, confident in his accuracy and get him going. He would have him throw to Cole Beasley a few times, and then, all right, now we can start taking the shots. Now we can start throwing the 10-yard, 20-yard passes and taking the, the deep 60-yard pass here and there just to see if we got it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I don't want to build a whole offense around that, but it looks like that's where we're going now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's frustrating. That's probably where we're going to end up being.
I mean, this is kind of where I'm with the Dwayne Carter pick. Tell me who you're interested here.
Okay.
After Dwayne Carter went, Adisa Isaac, the defensive end from Penn State.
Yeah, that Mac wanted him badly.
Yeah, Jonah Ellis, I liked a lot. Pass rusher, the one that worked with Bishop. Mm-hmm. Braylon Trice, defensive end out of Washington. And Steve,
Andrew Phillips.
Steve, here's for you. Watch this. Jacob Cowing, Arizona. Devontae Walker, North Carolina. Wow. Javon Baker, Central Florida.
All in the
Troy Franklin, Oregon.
God. That I was pissed about.
All went after Dwayne Carter. Yep. Now, if you want to go further and say, why didn't he just get Braylon Allen or Isaac Orindo, the running backs out of Wisconsin and Louisville? They got Ray Davis, fine. But would you rather have one of those guys or Dwayne Carter? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Who would you rather have? Who really fits what we're trying to do? Could you not get a defensive tackle off the waiver wire? You couldn't get a 1-year deal like you do all the freaking time?
But these guys weren't captains.
They weren't captain, 3-year captains. And I'm watching this guy play, and I'm sitting here trying to find where it is that he's so great. I'm sitting here like, okay, maybe just maybe he's a sack guy. Maybe just maybe he's a speed guy. The most sacks he's had in his career, his best year of sacks, 5.5. He had 11 tackles for loss from the defensive tackle spot in 2022. That was his best year. He played in 13 games. He had 36 tackles. 41 tackles most in 2023. He was a captain of the team for 3 years. This production is not that of somebody that's better than Braylon Trice, somebody better than Adisa Isaac, somebody better than Jonah Ellis.
Right.
These numbers can be found on the waiver wire. Yep. Now, sure, this guy can do all the cute things Kyle Williams did, but once again, what is Milano for? What is Bernard for? What is Daquan Jones for? What are the guys that have been here forever for? I don't need a defensive tackle that can call out pass when you're not getting to the quarterback.
Right.
You know what they used to say to me on the line? I'll meet you at the quarterback. That's what they used to say. All they used to say. I'll meet you at the quarterback. You think this guy's going to meet anybody at the quarterback?
No.
Not unless Von Miller plays out of his mind, Daquan Jones plays out of his mind, and Epinesa and Russo play out of their mind. The only way this guy is getting to the quarterback. I couldn't even find him in his own highlight tapes. I'm watching the wrong dude. I'm like, yo, this dude, that's 94. Yo, there he goes. That's not him. Yo, that's how I'm looking at this guy.
One of the first things the Bills said about Dwayne Carter is he's a man already.
You're right. The 3-year captain.
Like that's the dumbest thing to say to yourself, I need that player in my locker room.
He's a man.
You already have vets. You already have grown men. Like what?
He's a man. I need another man.
So the actual men that you have in your locker room are not enough?
I'm a leader of men. What men? They're not men. I got a man now.
Right. We got to draft this guy to come in and lead the 40-year-olds.
Like be men.
You know what I'm saying? We got to bring these guys in to lead the 30-year-olds that are not men.
He's a scholar.
Really?
He went to Duke. He's a scholar. Yes, really.
This is what I think they get pissed off at when they're talking when the report comes out. You know, the veteran players are fed up with the culture. Like this is why.
Yeah. That was, I mean, and like I said, I'm going to continue. I'll even look at Jordan Jefferson out of LSU. What did he do? Nada. So, I mean, that tells you, like I said, we used to have what was known as deep defensive tackle draft. This is Jordan Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
Defensive tackle drafts. This was a bad one. You did not need to reach for one,
right.
Especially in the third.
Exactly.
Especially in the third. Because my favorite ones went in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. The ones I looked at were late round. We're not looking at a starter. A 3rd-round player is a guy that could be a starter, and he's not it.
I don't. Realistically speaking, I don't think Dorian Williams is ever going to become a starter.
Especially not here.
Right. And obviously I could be wrong. but based on how you saw the team use him, he looks like more of that special teams, developmental guy. If he pops, great. If he doesn't, whatever. We still got a cheap special teamer and backup if we need it, right? But I wanna get to this comment really quick, and then I want to cap this off because I got one more thing I want to get to, and then we can get to.
You shall not silence me. No, go ahead.
Wow, Steve is Steving heavy. So Steve says, let's sign Jerry Hughes ASAP. You want to fail big. I think.
No, Steve, what do you think about Shaq Lawson? You know he's coming back. He's coming back.
I mean, they got like what two almost 3 million, like 2.8 or something like that. It's like 2.83 million.
Low, yeah.
They're
$8 mil over for the first season.
So let's do this because Lindsay had, and I've heard this rumor before too. Lindsay said, rumor has it that Bills could trade for Cortland Sutton, and.
Yeah, that's a rumor. I've heard that.
We've been connected to Cortland Sutton for a while now, and I think if the Broncos call Brandon Beane and they say, hey, can we just get a 3rd round pick next year, a 2nd round pick next year? I think that might be something the Bills, think about. But here's the kicker. Because we got to know how much Cortland Sutton makes right now, right? Do you have access to that at all?
I can get it, but while you were looking it up, this is actually a good segue. I wanted to see and gauge Steve. I'm going to get you going today, brother. I'm going to get you going today. I think you're already going, but in the Bills since McDermott's been drafted, listen to the defensive ends we've taken: Epinesa, Javon Solomon, who's a question mark, Daryl Johnston, Greg Rousseau, Boogie Basham. Defensive tackles: Ed Oliver, Dwayne Carter, Harrison Phillips. Linebackers total: Tremaine Edmonds, Dorian Williams, Terrell Bernard, Eddie Ulafaccio, Matt Milano, Vashawn Joseph, Tanner Vallejo, Balin Spector. How many of those players actually played on this team? How many of those players actually made the team? Actually did anything on this team? This is the defensive investments that they make. And if you look at it, let's see. Boogie Basham, 2nd round. Harrison Phillips, 3rd round. Dorian Williams, 3rd round. Vashawn Joseph, 5th round. Tanner Vallejo, 6th round. Balin Spector, 7th round.
Isn't Dwayne Carter and Harrison Phillips the same guy? Like, aren't they basically the same guy?
Yeah.
And Harrison Phillips was like
that. Yo.
Like Harrison Phillips popped in what year 4 when it was too late and they traded him away.
I don't think he ever popped, but that's when they wanted to make it seem like
you should pull
popped.
up their numbers and see how similar their numbers are.
Okay.
As far as Cortland Sutton goes, he's got an annual average salary of $15.2 million. So I think even if the Bills were to trade him, how does that work exactly? So when a team makes a trade, unless the team that's trading for the player agrees to take on the entirety of the contract, they're really only taking on the guaranteed money of the contract, right? They don't take on the incentive stuff and the bonus salary.
Right.
Okay, so if we did trade for him, it would be like we would pay less than $15.2 million.
Right, but the problem is right now we're at an $8 million deficit for 2024.
We're at a what?
$8 million deficit. We're in a whole $8 million when we get to operating capital. So when we get to the 53-man roster, we're $8 million in the hole.
So we'll probably still be at like 2.8 something by the time we sign all the draft picks and all that. There's no way to trade for anybody else. There's no way. They can't afford it.
When Bean said, I'm not doing anything this year, just stop it.
Yeah.
He meant it this time.
Right. Okay.
This time he meant it. Perfect. Unless something falls in his lap, he meant it.
Right.
To your question about Harrison Phillips, let's see. Harrison Phillips, highest sack total, 3 sacks in 2023.
Same dude.
1.5 sacks in Minnesota, 2022. Yeah, so this just gets worse as he gets further from the present. So tackles for loss. Most he had was 4 in 2021 and 2018. Now, people, how many games did he play? Well, only year he played less than 10 games was 2019. That year doesn't even matter.
Right.
That doesn't even matter. 2021, he only played in 8 games. He only started 8 games, and he had more tackles for loss than any other season he's played in the NFL. But he's a leader. He's mature.
Right.
He's a culture guy. Dwayne Carter, prove me wrong. Please, prove me wrong. Because I don't hate you. I'm not going to hate on you.
Yep.
I'm not going to slander you. But what I'm saying is, for a third round for a team that needed a second wide receiver, Steve, how you like where I'm going so far? A team that needed a second receiver, and do I need to go and show you who was in there again? No, because you already heard it. You already heard the names. Troy Franklin. On a slow wide receiver core, Troy Franklin,
yep.
Javon Baker. I mean,
and those were all fourth round guys.
So
the contracts that they would have gotten would have been less than
yes.
Even if you did pick one of these guys in the third round,
yes.
you still had an opportunity. You had 2 fourth round picks, and instead of moving up to get one of these receivers, you decided, oh, you know what? What's more important is a draft pick for next season. So let me get rid of one of these fourth round picks and go get those.
When we got up day 2, I was like, we've lost our minds.
Yeah. They don't. It's like they go into these things and they you know what it is. They draft the same way they play football, right? So what I mean is when you watch the Bills play a football game, if their primary game plan does not work, it is game over.
You know what? You just made me more mad. While you're talking, I just thought about it. What do they always say in the draft? We followed our what?
Our board.
They never deviate from anything.
Yeah.
Never deviate from the board.
That's it.
Never deviate on the field from the game plan.
Yep.
Never when it's not working, you don't deviate because we already know what we want, and this is all we plan for.
Yep.
When we couldn't get that whatever pick it was that they traded to next year, I should have known right there. You know what? I'm dropping the draft grade C-.
Yes.
C-.
Yes.
C-.
All right, I did it. I won them over, y'all.
And the player, it's not even the players. It's the way they managed. It's the way they managed the picks they had. C-.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I had him at a C- to begin with. No investment in 2024. The guys that they picked didn't really fill a need. They didn't boost any positions in any particular area. Wide receiver is what it is at this point. Everybody, the reason Keon Coleman can be a justified X is because who else do they have? That is maddening. That should be maddening to every single Buffalo Bills fan and supporter in the world. The fact that we have a rookie that everybody thinks is hold on, let me say everybody outside of Buffalo now thinks is not a number 1 wide receiver. The fact that he's coming in and being gifted the X job. And the reason I say gifted the X job, Brandon Beane said, yeah, he's going to come in and play the X. Mm-hmm. Your GM is saying that. Mm-hmm. But then you turn around 2 days later and you say, well, everybody's got to earn everything, and we've already told them that.
Right. Well, that doesn't work.
You already told everybody he's getting the X job.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So you're giving this guy a position that he's underqualified for, and there's no other viable competition that can take over that position, and you say, yeah, that's definitely a better option than Keon Coleman.
Right.
Who else do we have? Curtis Samuel, maybe?
The Adonis, Justin Shorter.
Right. That's who we're counting on to come and save the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Why wouldn't it work?
Steve, you can Steve as long as you want on this one, because this might be that type of episode.
Steve, hats off. You just lost. You just lost us some subs, and you lost me my mind.
No, man, this is what we do. We get meaty on this show.
No, I'm good. I'm good with Steve. I'm just not good with myself at this point.
Steve writes in, outside of Oliver, Milano, and Bernard, we just draft Levi Wallace in different sizes. Good character, no physical talent.
Hey, hold on a second. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking.
Wow, I really thought you was about to stick to your guns, but you've definitely evolved.
I never said he was a Pro Bowler. I just like the guy.
Yeah, not a bad dude. I met him before. All right, moving right along.
Where are we moving to, man? The show is ruined. Anyway.
No,
it's not ruined.
This is an interesting thought. It's an interesting conversation, right? So, so Terry Pegula transferred a small percentage of ownership to his daughter Laura, right? And this was because of a in NFL regulation on succession planning, right? So he kind of had to do it. Now, the reason for that was because Kim Pegula was legally designated as incapacitated. So now Terry Pegula is her legal guardian, so to speak, right? So he transfers a small piece of the ownership to his daughter. The other 25% is still up for sale. At this point, it really looks like Terry Pegula is not in a place mentally or emotionally to want to continue to handle the responsibilities of running an NFL franchise and owning an NFL franchise. My question is this. Would you like to see Laura take over ownership and kind of step into that role that it seems like Terry has kind of, not gotten fed up with, but it's kind of like the last thing on his list right now. Would you like to see Laura come in and take over ownership and kind of, try her hand at it? Or would you like to see a new owner come in here, buy the team, buy that 25%, but, gradually progress into, that main ownership role? Or do you just want Terry Pegula to sell the team and have a new owner come in here?
No, I mean, I don't. You had me with a thought there. I don't think Terry was ever intending on having anything to do with this team. I think, like you said, when Kim went down, it shocked him to his core because he was hands off. He was a figurehead. He was a face of the team because he was the man with the money. But now that he has to be the man with the money and the man that makes decisions, he wants to wash his hands. So I don't know. I know the daughter is from a previous marriage, so she's older than Jesse, whatever that means. I don't know if she's my age or she's 30. I don't know. Yeah. But it depends on the acumen. I mean, the team isn't poorly run per se. It's just some bad decisions they make that really hamper. And the decisions we're talking about are not really even – they're not even bad decisions. They're just like draft picks, free agent picks, things like that. And
it's contract stuff too, obviously.
Well, yeah, but that's going to happen regardless of who the owner is. I think unless you get rid of McDermott and Bean, and that's not where I'm trying to go with the show. Gotcha. Because Overdorf is the guy that he pretty much says, "Oh, you want this? This is how we make it happen. If we do this, you can't do that." And they're like, "Cool." And I think everybody's got a guy like that. And I think everybody, whether you have the acumen to really process what he's telling you, that's a different story. But I think. With the stadium in Buffalo, does it really matter who owns the team? I say that kind of not tongue in cheek, but kind of weakly, because stranger things have happened. But with a new stadium that costs that much money, I don't think they're planning on moving anybody anytime soon. But I don't put as much stock in Pegula as some, where I think that him being removed from the team would actually make a huge difference. So.
Okay. So the reason I think I would prefer really anybody but Terry Pegula is because seriously because I think the reason Sean McDermott has been here as long as he has is not because of how many games he's won. Because even with all the games that he's won, there's been some really boneheaded, calls either on the field or off the field. Absolutely. I mean, you get rid of your number one wide receiver to bring in a guy who maybe can become a number one wide receiver in year one. Maybe. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. And the reason you make that decision is based off of emotion. You're just fed up with the guy. You're frustrated. You don't like him, so you get him off your team. Right. You can't have a guy making decisions like that based off of emotion when you're running an NFL franchise. And let's face it, he is running the NFL franchise. The GM works for him, so it's Sean at this point, right? I want to get to Lindsay's comment. Lindsay says, I definitely agree, C- for this draft where we had 10 picks and had the balls to trade with the Chiefs. Exactly.
And didn't fleece them. Oh, I'm sorry.
And are the faces about the comment, is that frustration for the comment, or is that something else that we said? Let me know in the comments.
Who made faces? Lindsay?
Yeah, Lindsay.
Okay, I'll take that.
She made like a cringe face or like a frustrated face, and then like a frustrated huff.
I wasn't frustrated when I came in today, but now I am.
Yeah, well, that happens when you talk to me. Most people get frustrated when they talk.
Sometimes. I mean, that's all right. We love you anyway.
Sometimes we gotta talk about that. No, I was playing.
You all right, bro?
No, Steve writes in, at least Laura knows sports. Terry only needs to come in when we need a QB. He likes Mahomes and Josh. I honestly, whatever loosens the hold that Sean McDermott has on this head coaching job, I'm fine with. And that's why I said, even if it's Laura, I'm cool with that because, Sean ain't best friends with Laura. You know what I'm saying? And if she knows sports, then, and this is the thing too, I think to some degree, as much as people want to keep the rose-colored glasses on, Terry Pegula has to see the writing on the wall with what's going on with Sean McDermott running the team. Mm-hmm. He has to have heard already the cry from the players wanting something different. He has to have seen the people like us who, we love the team. We want them to win, but we're not blind to what's really going on. Right. You know what I mean? When you're at that level and you have access to as much information as he has as the owner of the team, he's got marketing teams. He's got people that can get this information for him at the drop of a dime. Mm-hmm. So he has to know. He has to know that there's a growing disgruntlement within the fan base and within the team and within the staff that something is wrong. And there's one person that's been linked to most of the issues that have ailed the franchise, right? Lindsay says I'm on Steve mode, LOL.
Oh, she on one. Lindsay's on
That's
one.
Good.
Welcome
That's
to the
good.
table.
That means this is gonna be a thick show.
Welcome to the table.
Yeah, right.
It's not a pause moment.
Oh, you said
we going through things right now. It's not even a pause. It is, but it's not.
I mean, thick in terms of like meaty, like heavy, like.
Yeah. Duh.
You know what?
What else could it be?
You and your hoochie daddy shorts can stay over there. This man came in here with some hoochie daddy shorts on.
That's how they do it these days, man.
Yeah. Got his thigh meat all out. Like, anybody trying to see that. Nobody trying to see that.
Listen, this is not my style. This is not my style.
What you mean it's not your style?
Why you gotta do it? I was gonna let it ride. I'm like, okay, he doing something new with his life. Okay. I was gonna let it ride.
Lindsay writes in, I liked the safety we picked with Bishop. I agree with Steve. When this draft was loaded with wide receivers and traded our number one, I wanted Thomas Jr.
Who said that, Lindsay?
Lindsay says,
yeah, we all wanted Thomas Jr. Well, not all of us, but most of us wanted Thomas Jr.
Who's watching right now that didn't want Brian Thomas Jr.?
I was going to say somebody that wanted Neighbors or Harrison or Odunze. Somebody that had all their eggs in the Odunze basket, which I understand. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. But see, what the difference is...
Mac was cool with Brian Thomas Jr., right?
Yeah. Okay. But the difference with this is we're not saying, oh, man, we could have got Jamari Thrash. Right. Oh, man, we could have got Jaquan Jackson. Oh, man, why did we get Keyshon come on? We could have waited to the 5th round. They're saying we could have got some cojones, some huevos,
right,
and moved up in the draft.
All right. Well, let's move on to what you got, bro. What do you got for us?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. We do have a show to do. I was stuck there. I was in my own little world. I was waiting for it to keep going. Let's see. Okay, so all is not doom and gloom because this kid does want to work. He has worked out with Jamar Chase. He's in the lab with Jamar Chase right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so okay. He is working with somebody that actually has some kind of familiarity with not only one LSU, but one Joe Brady. So I think working out with Jamar Chase and calling Andre Reed is a stepping stone. But when you tell me you talked to one Eric Moulds, then we'll really have something to discuss. But yeah, I like that. I like the fact that he's reaching out to other guys in the league. And also Emory Hunt says that Keon Coleman is the Anthony Edwards and George Pickens of this draft. So he kind of threw a basketball connotation, but anybody that knows Anthony Edwards, producer, relax. Anthony Edwards is what's known as the new Baby Jordan. We've seen a million of these Baby Jordans, but I mean, he's been around long enough for him to actually warrant that Baby Jordan title. So Emory Hunt actually believes that Keon Coleman is going to be something really special, which I'm fine with. If he is, I don't. Let me get this straight right now. I don't want anybody at me when Keon Coleman decides to blow up or whatever he does, because I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying anything about Keon Coleman except he's a Buffalo Bill. All I'm saying is you fleeced yourself when you traded with the Chiefs. Right. That's all I care about. I don't care about nothing else. Then you double down on stupidity when you didn't trade with the Patriots, who were offering you even more.
Yep.
That's the only problem I have with the whole Keon Coleman. And I'm sorry he has to be involved in it. It could have been Brian Thomas Jr. We would have slid it to 33 and got him.
It was
I'd have said the same
picks.
thing.
It was 5 picks. What do you think we would have had to give up to move up 5 spots? It was 5 spots.
We could have gave it up.
Like we saw
probably 2/4 in that first.
What was
2/4 in that first in that same draft.
2/4? I don't even think it would have been 2/4.
Maybe I don't know.
Who was the other team that moved up 5 spots in the draft? Do we remember who that is?
Let me see.
Everybody watching.
Somebody hurry up, please.
Yeah, if y'all knew who that was, who was it in the first round that moved up 5 spots? I think they moved up 5 spots to
Lindsay. You're on the clock.
Receiver.
No.
Lindsay probably does.
Lindsay, no, I'm gonna let you guys figure it out.
All right. Well, while we think about that, Steve writes in. He says, "This is the only pod that thinks like this. The other creators and fans are all okay saying cope things like it's not that bad. This fan base is brainwashed and content with average."
Yeah,
I'll take that as a compliment because
honestly, that's what we started for.
Brainwashed.
That's what we started for. It's not a Bill Slander show.
KC did move up 5, but it might be the Vikings. Who did the Vikings move up for?
You know what? Let me go. You know what? Let me do this. I know where to find it. I was hoping Lindsay was going to get it. Then
Lindsay commented and she said the Vikings.
But then we got a compliment, so that knocked me off my pivot.
That's a huge comment though. So seriously, Steve, I'm taking that as a compliment.
No, it really is. It really is.
Dorothy,
Steve keeps watching. So
yeah, right. Dorothy writes in, definitely not a fan of McDermott. What exactly is the culture issue? And how do you know Diggs didn't request a trade? Okay, so I'll address the culture issue. So the culture issue is players are fed up with culture being the primary foundation of every decision that the Bills make, right? And when I'm talking about culture, we're talking about the choir boy, goody two shoes type of guys that they like to get in the door. They also like guys from not so prominent schools. They rarely draft players from colleges like Georgia. They have 2 guys on their wait, 3? Where's Torrance from?
Who, Torrance?
Yeah.
Florida.
Okay, Torrance is from Florida. But they rarely get guys on their team from big time college programs at that time. So like when Alabama was big, we weren't drafting players from Alabama. When Georgia's big, we have 2 players now from that team, and that's just in the last 2 years. So that kind of goes along with my point of saying that I think there's a shift now in what the culture is becoming. But the culture issue, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the players kind of being fed up with culture being the first and foremost thing that gets considered whenever there's consideration for trades, players that they're trading for or players that they sign or players that they draft. And oftentimes those guys who are the, goody two-shoes choir boy are, a little bit less athletic or maybe less talented or maybe have less production at the college level coming into the NFL than some of the other guys who may not be the leader or the captain or the goody two-shoes type of guy. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having someone on our team that isn't a criminal, right? I don't want a bunch of drag racers on the team. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, I think the mindset needs to be that you've got to be able to take the good with the bad if it means, it gives you a chance to win a championship. Now, again, let me be clear. I'm not saying that we need to get 12 or 13 of those guys into the locker room just to win a championship, but if you've already built a foundation of good guys, you can afford to bring in some dogs. That's all I'm saying.
Can I indulge you guys, please?
Please do.
You said something just a minute ago. You know I have on my spreadsheets. You said, and I think you were trying to segue into it.
Oh, yes. Bring this up, please.
That the Bills have a propensity for not drafting from teams when they're hot. So what I did was I just grouped together all of McDermott's drafts. So listen to this. He has 4 players from Florida. That's the most players he's gotten from one school. 4 players from Florida. Now, the next group of teams I'm going to read off are 3 players each. Utah, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Georgia. Next one's 2, Boston College, Central Florida, Oregon State, Boise State, Clemson, Houston, Miami, Florida, Mississippi. Those are not Alabamas. Those are not Georgias. We have some Georgias in the yes.
Ain't no Wolverines on this team yet.
Right. When you see Utah, Pittsburgh, Boston College, Central Florida, Oregon State, Boise State being higher. Let me see. McDermott. Let's look here and see where he is. No, I don't see any Alabamas. I don't see him drafting anybody from Alabama.
Nope.
Who else do we have? Alabama, Washington,
LSU.
Actually, that's a whole LSU. Trey White.
One guy from
that's
LSU.
it. Trey White. Who else we got? Florida State. One guy.
That's the other part that sucks. Like the one guy we got from LSU when LSU was hot, it wasn't even like one of the best players on the team. He was just the guy. He's a leader.
He was a leader wearing 18. Yeah,
right.
He was a leader. So yeah, I mean, and that's the point where you said, I was like, can I just interject with, because we're not drafting. I mean, let's see, Kansas City. Let's go Kansas City. How about we do that? Let's try them same years.
All right.
Where do they draft from? I don't know. And I really do not know.
Well, okay.
Tennessee, Michigan, Texas, Clemson, TCU, Florida State, Washington State, Marshall, Oklahoma, Washington, Texas Tech. Now
that's a big difference.
That's a huge difference.
That's a big difference.
And that's just in the same time as we're talking about with McDermott. Who else do we have? Who else?
Let's go good? Cincinnati.
Cincinnati?
The other competition.
The team that has no scouts. 6 players from Michigan, Miami, Florida, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, LSU, Mississippi, Texas A&M, Purdue, Washington, Florida, Texas, Georgia. Toledo's got 2. Kansas State, Auburn.
But like all those other teams that you're reading down there lower on the list, they've only drafted like 2 players from those teams, that respective year.
Right.
Like
this is the same 2017. This is 2017 to the present.
Right. So the college they drafted from the most, Michigan University.
Michigan, then Miami, Florida, then Ohio State, then Alabama, then Clemson, then Oklahoma.
Right.
All powerhouses.
Right. Right.
I mean, what else do we have to say?
That's the culture. So
what else do we have to say?
That's what we're talking about.
And that's why I built this, because I was like, yo, I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know who are they looking at? Yeah. What region? What conference?
It really comes down to the guys that are in the locker room now are all guys that make Sean McDermott's job easier, because he feels he can relate to guys like that. He can relate to guys who are, grown men and mature in his eyes. That makes his coaching job easier. He doesn't have to go out of his way or go out of his comfort zone to relate to these guys and get better at coaching. He's getting players that make his job easier, and that's not the way to coach. It's not the way to go at all. To answer your second question, how do you know Diggs didn't request a trade? According to my source, this report actually came out much earlier. Stephon Diggs' agent was given permission, not permission, but he was basically told, like, look, you can go seek a trade. That's the way that it happened. They called his agent. They said, go ahead and seek a trade. Only place you can't go is Kansas City, right? So then I later on heard from my source that, and this is the way that it was said, it wasn't Bean, it wasn't Josh, it was Sean. So if you connect that to Sean McDermott's antics of trying to get Stephon Diggs out of the building last year with what he said and then later on recanted a day later, that all correlates to Diggs didn't ask for a trade. The sequence of events and the reports that came out would have been significantly different if he asked for a trade. First and foremost, there would have been some sort of announcement that he asked for a trade.
If Diggs asked for a trade, he'd have been going much sooner.
Exactly. And probably for a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
They were desperate.
Steve writes in. Oh, Lindsay writes in. Oh shoot, I'm behind. Steve says gave up a third. We would have had to give up our 2 and probably a 4 to move up 5 spots. I don't know about that. Our 2. So
a 1 and 2 would have got it
switching.
Done. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think swapping 1s and then giving them a 4 probably would have done it.
Let's look and see what the fair trade is
Yes.
for you and me.
Yes.
The fair. What does being say? I understand the question, but the fair trade. Okay, so we had to move up to. He got drafted where Brian Thomas
23.
went to.
He got
23rd?
drafted. Yep, 23rd.
Okay.
By the Jaguars.
So to get the 23rd pick. 23rd pick in the first round, 760 points. So now you're saying, what was it that he said?
You're gonna swap first.
Okay, so we're gonna give up our first, which is 28,
and a 4th.
So that was.
You know what? Use the 4th round pick that we had that we ended up trading for a pick next year.
What was that? 160 something.
Which pick was that?
Yeah, can you put it up for me?
Yep.
128 maybe.
Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at the 28th and 128th, you're sitting at 704. So we're still 56 points to the deficit. So we still got to make it up. I think if we would have gave the other 4th, that would have did it for us. So I don't remember which 4th we had, but I know we had 2 of them. So in looking at the draft. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so this is not it.
Okay, so let's do this. We'll just go here. We will. Okay, so which ones we pick? Who did we pick? What 4th rounders did we pick? What numbers do we have?
I might be able to find it this way.
On the 4th, we had 128 and 128 and.
Is it not on there because they traded it away?
I'm looking over here to see. Oh, 133. Okay, so let's do 128, 133.
Okay, so
all right, so that'll get it done.
1/4 didn't get it done.
No, we were still 40 points. About 40 points short, 50 points short.
So
133 now.
So let's give them one of the 5ths.
One of the 5ths, okay.
Yeah, instead of getting rid of both 4ths, because they,
we could do that.
They got rid of one of the 4ths. So figure we could just throw that one in there and then one of the 5ths.
You want to throw that in there? You want to throw it in there? How about 168?
Let's do it.
Let's try that.
Steve done messed up. Steve done messed up. He said,
"Is he gonna get me angry?"
I'm gonna get to that in a second. Let's finish this trade to see if his Bible, because it's gonna be a whole nother conversation.
Is he gonna get me angry?
It might. Oh man, I think he's starting to get good at setting this up.
I think you're right. Let's see who's this here. So it's first,
a 4th,
128,
and a 5th,
and 168.
That's a 6th.
Yeah, I have it listed wrong. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
You don't worry about that. So
that gives us 760.
No, that's what we got to get to. And if we have that last one, we're looking at 168. And that's still not enough. Who had to be that
It's
fourth?
still not enough?
Nope. It had to be that fourth, because we're still
move
about
up
10
5
points
spots
short.
in the first round?
We're still about 10 points short. So
I mean,
will they play with us? Maybe.
So who was
Jacksonville.
who was there? No, who was ahead of Jacksonville?
Oh, ahead of Jacksonville? All right, let's take a look at that, because I have it up already. So that's the easy one. For people that are like, why are you not talking? I'll tell you why, because we're lost. 120.
Yeah, we are. So
Philadelphia took Quinyon Mitchell.
Philly.
Yeah. So they could have easily they could have moved back and still got a cornerback. Because there was Quinyon Mitchell and there was Terrion Arnold still on the board when we picked at 28. So they could have played ball with us. So you're talking about a first and 2 fourths would have got it done for Brian Thomas. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm thinking this too. We probably would that. That's probably why Bean didn't do it, because if it takes 3 picks to move up 5 spots.
Yeah, but it's 2 fourths. I mean, if you wanted to be silly and go first and second, you could get something back. Yeah, but look at
what he did to get a 3rd round pick, though.
That's because I'm not going there. I'm not going there. You tried it. I'm not going there.
I'm just saying we probably would have had to move up earlier than that.
You tried it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking if that's the case, you got to get up to 20 possibly with Pittsburgh. I mean, if they're taking an offensive lineman, that offensive lineman is going to be available at 28.
Well, actually, they took more cornerback. They took more offensive tackles after 20 they did cornerbacks.
Lindsay said, "I did it. It's my fault."
You did, but that's okay.
Okay. So, all right. So Laura says, "What up, y'all? Didn't realize you were streaming. Y'all working hard calculating something." Yeah. So we were trying to figure out how to get from, or what it would take to get from 28 up 22. To 23 or 22, like somewhere around there, so that we can, so that we could have drafted Brian Thomas Jr. Just to kind of justify, or try to figure out like why Brandon Beane wouldn't have done something that seemed easy for one of the other teams that moved up 5 spots earlier in the draft and didn't really give up that much. I think it was like a swap of 1st and a 4th and maybe a pick next year or something like that. But it wasn't a lot that they gave up to move 5 spots. You know what I mean?
Who it was?
I know. I really want.
Wait, was it the Jets?
No. They stayed pat.
Minnesota. No, they traded Minnesota.
Minnesota had 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, so
it might have been them.
The Jets in Minnesota so that's not it.
Yeah, it might have been the Vikings trading up to 17 to take Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
So 17, so they were at 22. So they were at 22, traded up 5 spots to 17, and they didn't give up that much. Bills immediately should have made that trade right after they saw that. Mm-hmm. Right after they saw that, it don't take that much to trade up 5 spots? Oh, man, let's do it. Let's make a phone call. But anyway.
What's going to make me mad? Go ahead and say it. What's Steve say?
All right. So, Steve writes in, and why is everyone so mad about the Worthy trade? We already gave KC Mahomes and got jumped like a fool for an all-pro cornerback and got left with Elam. Why so mad? We've been coping for all these moves.
Yep. And the worst part about the whole Elam debacle is that there were still good cornerbacks after him that are starting right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's still guys that are starting right now.
Caleb Farley didn't get his 5th-year option.
I got a list of them, but yeah, Caleb Farley's out there, and then you got to look at who was it? Tariq Woolen was out there.
Oh yeah,
you talking about Roger McCreary?
They got him in the 4th round.
Yeah, Roger McCreary, Kyler Gordon, Tariq Woolen, but we stuck to our board. We got our guy. We had to trade up and get our guy. And what do you do with him? You sit him for what? 4 years now? 3 years?
Right.
4 years?
Right.
You sit him. That's not how this works. Not even a little bit.
Nope. Steve writes in to make a team move down in the 1st to get Thomas Jr. It costs our 1, 2, and 4. Mm-hmm. Trust otherwise teams would not move with us.
I would think.
I mean, that could be part of it.
But see, Steve, no, you're wrong because you got to figure out what's fair for you and fair for them. There's no fleasing. There's no fleasing involved in the draft trade.
No, it's just the Bills that
it's
are not allowed
the Bills
to flease
that don't.
other teams.
Yeah, they don't fleece anybody. They just get ganked.
That would be morally wrong.
They get ganked. That's all it is.
It's against our culture.
It is because we won all these Super Bowls. We feel bad for everybody else because we won all these Super Bowls. And now we got to let everybody else have their players because we got ours already. We're set. You get your players. We want it to be fair. Oh, you won the Super Bowl 2 times? Oh man, that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that as far as and all this was in reference to Dorothy's comment about the culture and all that. And
is that where it came from?
Well,
it just gave me latitude
talking
to
about
rant
the culture
again.
was Dorothy's comment, and then the trade up stuff was us, getting pissed off and trying to figure out how we didn't end up with Brian Thomas Jr.
It gave me latitude to rant again. That's all I care about.
Laura, just so you know, so we typically stream on Mondays and Fridays, right? But the last few weeks have been kind of weird. So
well,
this past
my son
Monday,
is there, and things happen on Friday and Tuesday. My birthday was Monday, so
correct.
It was gonna be bodily harm inflicted if I would have did the show that day. So that
Literal
didn't happen.
bodily harm.
That's not what you want. If you like this show, you don't want it to be a one man show. So I said, let's do it Tuesday.
Right. So for anybody that doesn't like Keyshon's comments from now on, all you got to do is holla at T, and T will take care of that.
Take care of it. Kneecaps going. Right in their book bag.
Yep. So all right. So what else? Oh my gosh. Okay. I saw that too. I just looked at your list. Number 2
My list. What list? Whatever do you mean?
You want to get into that?
Where we at? You talking about Vonnie Miller?
No, I'm talking about Justin Fields.
Okay, let's do Vonnie Miller real quick. Vonnie Miller just bought $1 million+ home in Orchard Park.
What?
Do we still want to bet he's going to be going this year? Yeah, he just bought a house in Buffalo. Yeah, and this is not going to be a Trent Sherfield home. This is a guy that made a lot of money in Buffalo. Just redid his contract in Buffalo. He ain't going nowhere for.
I mean, but you can sell $1 million home in Orchard Park. You can. You can.
You can sell $1 million house on the moon if you want to. But
no, I got a cousin. That
you got a guy
that's
got. I mean, bless your cousin's heart. Tell him to touch my hand. Rub that change off on me.
Listen. People in Orchard Park got money, right? You can sell $1 million home in Orchard Park. Matter of fact, he could easily turn around and sell $1 million home to one of the other players easily.
He could rent it out.
Or that if he's getting into real estate, there's that too.
It's very funny that you bought a home in Orchard Park now.
Well,
very funny.
Okay, you got to think about it like this. He got the bag already. He got a majority of the bag already. I'll put it like that, right? So now it's just a matter of, I don't think I like this house. I'm bored. Let's go move somewhere else. Let's get a nicer house. You know what I mean?
I don't think he owned a home in Buffalo before.
Huh?
I don't think he owned a home in Buffalo before.
He didn't?
Mm-mm.
I thought he bought a home when he first got
He
here.
bought a home there. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think he did.
Okay. Well, maybe he just really likes it here and he wants to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, but no.
Laura says happy birthday.
Who's that?
Laura.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. She says happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to say, wow, this is the second 3 days after me. I was like, yeah.
Everybody's having a birthday.
Everybody's in there. So what you want to say? Actually, producer was the first one to put this in my ear when I was in the gym today.
Yeah, he sent it to me too. Yep.
He wanted us to discuss the fact Justin Fields may potentially return kick for the Steelers. Is it a thing? Yes. Could he do it? Yes. Justin Fields has never played anything but quarterback. I looked it up. He's never been anything but quarterback, even in high school. He ran for 2,000 yards in his high school career, 2-year career. He ran a 4.44 at the combine. So he does have the speed, he has the body, and he has open field ability. But what I did hear, and I didn't write this down because it's off the top, is that teams with the new kickoff rules, teams are actually thinking about ways of circumventing the kickoff policy and having somebody throw the ball. On top of that, somebody else just signed a rugby player for this very reason, for the scrums, because they're used to having to fight themselves out of close proximity,
right.
Pick the ball up and get going. No, the Bills have not signed the guy from London for this purpose. He's 6'7", 300 pounds. That's not going to be cute. So we're not going to be that pretty, but I can tell you right now, Justin Fields behind the line for a kickoff is a very likely possibility, and that was actually leaked by what's his name, James Conner, their running back in Pittsburgh.
Lindsay says happy birthday, Key.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
This is it's an interesting thought because for the Steelers to make a trade for this type of player, this type of quarterback, right? And then say the things that they've said, and then you bring in Russell Wilson to kind of, like the impression that they allowed to happen was you bring a guy like Russell Wilson in to mentor Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? And then they somehow allow this report to come out. Mm-hmm. Now, this is something that came out today. Obviously, we have to see if they refute it. But as it stands right now, this report comes out that he may potentially return kicks for the Steelers.
Oh, they're going to refute it. Why wouldn't you not?
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, why
they
would you
have
not?
This cannot be a real thing. It
No,
can't be a real
I think it's a real thing, but they're going to refute it though.
You think they actually
I
would
think it's a
consider
real
letting
thing.
him do that?
I don't know if they're going to do it the whole time or full time, but I think they will. They will try it. Why I say they're going to refute it, because they don't want the league to get a handle on this. Because if it's a competitive advantage, for instance, you kick the ball to this guy, he's going to run up, 3 or 4 paces and toss the ball halfway across the field, and he's wide open and take it up the field. You don't want everybody in the league to get their hands on that intel or anybody to think like that, even though I'm sure somebody's thought about it already. Somebody's already had that brain to say, hey, maybe we can lateral this thing. It's
but
new.
again, this is the future of your franchise we talking about.
Is
like
it?
you're just going, yeah. Why else would you make a trade for this player? What did they give up for him?
No, not much, did they?
Let me see.
Did they
Justin
give up
Fields
much for
trade.
him? Actually, I know where to find it. Hold on. I can get it right here.
See if I find it before you do.
Justin Fields.
Yes.
All right.
Wow. A conditional 6th round pick.
See,
they can do
didn't
whatever
give
they
anything
want
for
with
him.
him.
Yeah.
They didn't give up anything for him. Wow. Okay. I mean, if that's what they want to do, I guess. I mean, because there's nothing Justin Fields can say about it. Like he's worth a 6th round pick at this point.
It converts to a fourth if Fields plays more than 51% of the 2024 snaps. Wait a minute.
That's why they went and got Russell Wilson.
Wait a minute. It didn't say offensive snaps. Maybe they won't do it.
Well, they can't do it because the more they play him, the more they have to give up.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't see that caveat right there. That 51% of 2024 snaps. That counts on kickoffs, punts, whatever you put them at.
Right.
So not knowing that
they are not putting him out for kickoff
because
of that. Because of that.
Are there that many kickoff return snaps in the season? How many are you going to
Probably not, but
Yeah.
that still counts towards the other snaps he plays.
I mean,
so if he runs some run option stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but they have control over that. But I you know what? Honestly, now I think about it, it still could be a thing. I think it still could be a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm back and forth. I know I'm talking to myself here.
We have 2 questions here. Dorothy writes in, Bills just signed linebacker Deion Jones for 1 year. What are your thoughts?
Tell me about him. What do you have?
Deion Jones?
Yeah.
Undersized linebacker. I think he's like 6 foot 210 or something like that. Speed guy though, like very, very fast, very good in coverage. But he's think a lighter version of, and this is gonna sound bad, a lighter version of Terrell Bernard. Like, you know what I mean? But this is the part that I think you'll hate the most. He was in Carolina last season.
Okay. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
No, so Deion Jones, he was Pro Bowl linebacker for the Falcons, way back when, and I don't think he ever got the notoriety or the recognition that he deserved with having the athletic ability that he did. Part of it was because he was kind of a very one-dimensional player. He was a coverage guy through and through, not great against the run. And he would get swallowed up by blocks a lot. He's not a big linebacker to begin with.
He was swallowed up.
There it is. Did it just for you.
Okay, so we're looking at 2020 season. He had 4.5 sacks. 2022 season, he had 2.5 sacks. Combination biggest output 2017, 138 tackles as your aforementioned Atlanta Falcons. His Pro Bowl year, he was Associated Press third place defensive player rookie of the year in 2016. Let's see, fumbles forced. For his career, he has 5 pass defenses. That's where he made his money. Looks like he has 53 pass defenses for his career. Once again, starting in 2016, he has He has 5 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and yes, I mean, okay, whatever.
Yeah. So, Dorothy, the one of the things that we talked about early on in the show's existence was he's up to 222 now.
He's 30 years old too. Well, he'll be 30 this year.
Okay, so 222 is about the heaviest he's been. He used to play at like 210, 215, when he was in Atlanta. But anyway, Steve says lighter than Bernard. That's just a safety or a thick dime player. Yeah. He again in Atlanta that he was listed at one point at 6 foot 210. So anyway, and Lindsay, we'll get to your question in a second too. What did I want to say? Yeah. So we said early on in the show's in the show's existence that the tendency for Sean McDermott is to put a den mother in each classroom, each position classroom, so to speak, right? So prime example would be Matt Collins is the oldest receiver we have. That's the den mother for the wide receiver room. The signing of Deion Jones, the only way that I could see him well, I guess not the only way. If he's going to stay in that den mother role and be the, teach him guy, so to speak, in that classroom, then he will more than likely have a role on this team, and that'll be about it. Because with the other linebackers that we have and Balen Spector coming back, I don't think he's going to get a lot of playing time. Maybe on special teams. But I don't think it's a bad signing. I think in terms of having a guy who's very, very good in coverage come in and be able to work with guys like Dorian Williams and Ulofoshio, I think that's a guy that I would want in the classroom, teaching those guys how to play coverage better. But I don't like it for 2 reasons. Let me say this. I like the move overall if he makes the team because of his benefit for the 2 young linebackers. I don't like it for two lesser reasons that do not overpower me liking the move. I don't like the fact that he came from Carolina. I'm almost biased now to hate every player that comes from Carolina just because he comes from Carolina now. Secondly, I don't like the move because of the fact that I know almost assuredly he's going to be that den mother type of player. And when I say den mother type of player, for those of you that didn't watch us early on, I broke the news that Sean McDermott has a system where he has veteran players that he brings into the locker room, and part of their responsibility as an older player is to teach the younger players that they're in the classroom with, but the other side of their role is to report back to Sean McDermott what the players are doing so that he has knowledge at all times of what's going on with the players on the team. This is there have been players who have declined this role and not made the team. There have been players who just flat out said they didn't want to do that, and obviously because of their contract situation they couldn't get rid of them, but there have also been other players that have agreed to do it. And I get why those players might agree. Maybe they think that's the way they stick on the team. But that's the second reason why I don't like it, is because that comes with that kind of a role. If you're going to be the den mother, you're going to be, kind of looking after the guys, being somewhat aware of what they're doing, in their personal time, or, whenever they go and hang out and stuff like that. That stuff gets reported back to Sean McDermott. So that system is what I really don't like. Other teams hire, private investigators to kind of just do it on the sly, but, this guy has players kind of telling on each other.
Well, I'm looking at the numbers, and my favorite stat for linebackers and defensive ends and corners, missed tackle rate. He has a lifetime 13% missed tackle rate. That's high. So, I mean, if you're telling me he's 210 pounds or whatever, I know this says 227, but I take your word over this paperwork at Pro Football Focus. And I mean that seriously.
He's a good player.
I mean, he looks like he's more of a coverage guy than he is.
Yeah, but
he's not a great tackler. He's not a great pass rusher.
Exactly.
Run defense, he's not going to give you anything. He's a cover guy. Yep. So that means you got to fortify that defensive line. So I guess he's here for insurance.
But how much?
He's got to be insurance
how much
from
his
Milano.
contract has got to be for.
He's got to be insurance from Milano. That tells you they really don't care about Dorian Williams. That's what that says to me. They really don't care about Dorian because I saw a poll before I got on here, and
they don't care about who?
Dorian Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got, like you said, Baylon Spector coming back, but Dorian Williams was third round, and Steve, I know you're probably seething too, but he's a third round investment who you pulled him as soon as he did something slightly off. You never let him learn. You never let him grow. And now you go ahead and get another 30-year-old guy to start ahead of the guy that you drafted last year. So this is a further indictment on the coaching and the philosophy of our Bills as the structure is right now. You're looking at a team that doesn't. They're not interested in grooming anybody. They're not interested in bringing anybody up. They're not interested in teaching somebody how to play the right way, as they like to say it. They want to buy the right way again.
Yep.
They keep buying these players. Why do you think we only have $2 million in cap space? Why do you think all that money we're supposed to have in 2025 is not there? Because they keep buying. They keep giving out these contracts for guys because they don't trust their drafts.
Yep.
They don't trust anything they do.
Yep.
All they did was trust the money. But guess what? Buffalo's in rarefied air right now because they've never had a franchise quarterback. Guess who gets all that money? The franchise quarterback.
Yep.
Guess who gets all that money? Your franchise defensive end. There's nothing left to pay. There's nothing left to give. We got to get rid of our cornerback. We got to get rid of both our safeties. We got to get rid of all these things that, Stephon Diggs. We got to take this $38 million to $32 million cap hit because we can't manage the 30-year-old wide receiver who's been good for us. Right. We don't know how to shut the hell up. We have no idea. We just want to go ahead and do things our way. Yep. We draft our way. We free agent our way. We run our team our way. And our way hasn't gotten one Super Bowl. Not one. I haven't even seen a Super Bowl with these guys. So if I'm going to sit here and let you run my team into the ground every year, at least make it entertaining. And that's what Whaley did. That's what Rex did. That's what Marone did. Exactly. That's what all those guys did. It was always something. But this guy over and over and over and over, the right way, the culture, our board. It's boring. It's old. And this is where I realized our disconnect was when I said, why can't you have a defensive coach? And I said, you know what? You can. But it can't be defensive minded.
Yep.
They can't be old school minded because we're seeing other defensive minded coaches getting hired and they're going to pass our guy. Thank God we have Josh Allen. Thank God we have Keyshon Coleman.
Mayo could potentially have a better career than Sean McDermott.
With Alex Van Pelt as OC.
Right.
He's on his way. He already made the right moves. He got his quarterback. Well, he identified his quarterback that he's going to live and die with.
Yep.
And got him weapons.
Yep. He didn't just say, we got Boutte, we got
we got Boutte, we got freaking Demario Douglas. He didn't say we got, he said, guess what? Double down. What is Green Bay doing? I'm doing that.
Yep. Steve writes in, so McDermott likes no talent snitches. Nice. F this process. And then Laura says, dang, wow, snitching on your buddies is wild. Yeah, it is, but that's what he put in place. There were a couple of guys that were like, hell no, I ain't doing that. Like right. I'm not telling you what we did.
Can you imagine a 26-year-old Cameron Curl? I'm just gonna use this because he's not old enough to be that den mother, but he's not a rookie. Can you imagine coming into Buffalo and saying, what the hell? Why is he doing that? Where did he get that information from? Somebody like that's been elsewhere, who is not in that prestigious internal circle, that Illuminati of Buffalo Bills. Somebody said, how did that information get back to them? How did they know where I was on Thursday? Mm-hmm. How did they know what? I don't want to be here. Guess what? Yo, Devontae, don't come. Yo, Micah, Yo, Trayvon, get your brother now. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah.
And you end up with the teams that we had with Chan Gailey. You end up with the teams that you had with Dick Geron, where we were cheering on Keith Ellison. We thought the freaking what was the guy's name? Preston
Brown.
Preston Brown. We were like, yeah, this guy sucks. But we liked him
Louisville.
Because all we had.
What the hell is a Louisville?
Right. But I mean, this thing think about when boys become men. Mm-hmm. When you wipe your eyes and you see clearly. I just signed a 5-year deal with this team, Stephon Diggs, and this is bull stuff. This is bull jive.
Yep.
I'm telling the Matt, you guys don't see this? Mutiny on your hands. So I go back to what I said in the beginning of the show, the infancy of the show. I'm on Steph's side. Well, who's the other side?
It's Sean McDermott.
Yeah, and guess who said that? A den mother, Mr. Miller,
Yep.
Von Miller. I'm on Steph's side.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's the only reason that a head coach like this that has made the kind of mistakes that he's made, and as big as those mistakes were, the only reason he lasts is if he has exactly what he has now, which is a great relationship with Terry Pegula.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the threading is starting to slowly come undone on that knot of friendship between him and the owner. I think the signs are there if you're really paying attention with Terry's attention needing to be on family right now.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to be. Mm-hmm. He's got money. Mm-hmm. This dude is buying properties and he's buying real estate in China and like he's got all kinds of different entities that are bringing in money, assets. I mean that are bringing in money. Mm-hmm. So the selling of the 25% of the team, he doesn't need that money. That's not why he's selling that percentage of the team, right? And then the partial transfer of ownership to his daughter. Yeah, it's because of a regulation in the NFL for a succession plan, but Terry's not going nowhere no time soon. He's still got to take care of Kim. Mm-hmm. Now, anytime somebody is in that role where, like, if my wife fell ill, mm-hmm. like, damn the podcast, I'm taking care of her first. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because that's the most important thing to me. So there's no way that this is about money. This is about him wanting to take care of his wife and be with his wife, mm-hmm. and make her life the best that it could possibly be going forward for where she is right now. So that tells me he's not in a position where he's focused on the team. He needs somebody else to be handling that right now. And right now, that person has been Sean McDermott. And I think the only reason that that's been the way that it's been is because of his relationship with the owner. But if some part of that changes, if another owner is brought in as a part owner, mm-hmm. if the daughter takes over and the daughter really don't have a relationship with, that's when the shift starts to happen. That's when the mistakes become just a little bit bigger and they matter a little bit more. And the voices of people like us and people like the people watching us get heard and they see the disgruntlement. That's when that starts to count for something now. That's when it becomes a problem. Mm-hmm. So I think this is the beginning of the end. But I want to get to Lindsay's comment really quick before we get out of here. You got time.
Yeah, I got time.
Okay. Well, I
got
don't have
got
much time because it's Taco Thursday. I know it's usually Taco Tuesday, but we got.
Stop saying Taco Thursday.
It's Taco Thursday.
You're disrespecting Taco Tuesday. Right?
I don't respect Taco Tuesday.
I don't care about Taco Tuesday. I care about tacos.
I have tacos whenever.
Yeah,
it could be Taco Sunday for all I care.
Folks, don't mind the host right now.
No, mind me.
Don't mind this little giant over here.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Me?
Yes, you.
I'm gonna say you got on your dad. I'm the giant, right?
Right. Yeah.
These two
compared to just about everybody in our lives right now. Well, not in your life because your dad is tall, your mom is tall.
They up there.
Yeah.
Relatively.
These two have disrespected Taco Tuesday.
No, it's
you got taco whenever you want.
Taco day is whenever you have tacos.
No. If it's Thursday, that does not mean it's taco. It's not.
Didn't we just talk about how groceries work? When you go to the store, you're just gonna buy stuff.
Right.
You're gonna drop money. Whatever's in your freezer, I want tacos. Guess what?
Having tacos.
What
Get my
is
taco
wrong
ingredients.
with
That's
you?
it. Coming out.
Like this.
I might make some wraps when I get to the crib. I'm gonna send you a picture.
I wish you would send me a picture of that.
What you gonna do with it? By the time you get to my house, it's gonna be going anyway.
Lindsay, where is your question? I'm looking for it.
Why are you looking for that question?
No, I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Laura. Wait. Oh, it's not Lindsay. That was Laura. I'm sorry. My bad. Laura asked a question earlier, and I'm going to get to it right now. She said the Bills posted a workout video and there was a prominent shot of Micah Hyde lifting weights. To me, that screams he's here another year. Any thoughts? No. I honestly think this is going to be a business decision for him, because really what it comes down to, and I think you've said this before too, it's more so a quality of life decision at this point. When he came back last year, it was more so, play until it hurts too much to play, and then it became like we need to not have him at practice for most of the week so that he can actually have enough temperance in his pain registry to be able to handle playing a few key downs during the game, right? So if taking a year off has kind of helped that healing process, great. But I really think right now for him, it's more so about being around the guys, being around the team, being in that atmosphere. For NFL players, that stuff still matters, especially when you're not mentally and emotionally ready to walk away from the game.
I could see a world where he's on the team, but I don't see him on the field.
Yeah,
I can see him on the team, but I don't see him on the field. I can see him, in practice going through the light drills. I can see him, being kind of an on-field coach. You notice you'll see a lot of the transitional players that become coaches. They in there lifting with the players as well, just because it's a nice facility, nice rehab. But I don't think he's going to be in any way, shape, or form able to. And I wish we were close with the thigh doctor, because he would tell us right now exactly what the ramifications are, what's going on with this. But I remember him saying something to the fact that at this point in time, this is literally life. This is quality of life. And if he keeps getting hit, there won't be one. Right. So, like the producer Junie asked earlier, to the effect of playing versus not playing, whatever the decision is, he's the kind of guy like, I want to play with the doctor. Like, you're not, absolutely not. You're shut down. No, you're a healthy scratch, or you're not healthy scratch, but you're not dressing, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I can see him in Buffalo. I can see him a member of the Bills, even wearing 23. But I don't think you're ever going to see 23 on the field. Yeah,
I agree with that. We got a few comments to get to here. Laura says, the way the draft played out with significant capital for next draft, it seems like Pagula has locked into McD and Bean for 2 years. Okay, I could see how that would be the message that comes across. I think the extension was more so based on he doesn't have a better option in mind right now to come in and do everything that Sean McDermott is doing. And I'm not sure that he has anyone else at the GM level or the president of football operations level that he trusts in this delicate time for him to kind of handle this stuff. Honestly, and I'm going to try to find out more about this, if I can, I honestly think this 2-year extension is a hold the fort down until I can get my personal business in order. And then I am going to push off the responsibilities of the team to someone else, whether it be the 25% owner or my daughter, who already have percentage ownership in the team. And I'm going to step away. He's already in the process of selling the Sabres, right? And I think this is the beginning of that process of him moving out. Now, it is possible that if the Bills do bad enough this year, Sean McDermott could be fired, and it would be justifiably so. But I think and I hate saying this because I really want him gone after 2024 so that the new coach coming in has 2025 to develop, what he wants going into the new stadium. But I think that's the way it's going to go.
Well, I don't think that any owner, except for you and Steve, would go into a draft or anything like that saying, "Yep, he's a dead man walking." I think this is a Granado season for McDermott. I think this is the season where he's like, all right, show me what you got. This is it.
Yep.
So they're operating as if they have the time. It's going to look like they have all the time in the world. And why wouldn't you operate that way? It's your job on the line. I have to show you something now.
Yep.
So what better way to show you than to do my job? So I think that what we're looking at right now is a team that is operating as if they have time, even though they know that the clock is ticking.
Yep. There you go. That perfect. We agree. Because that was my exact thought. It's like, yeah, it looks like they're committed, but not really when you really think about it. Steve writes in, Team Steph all day, by the way. Coleman's ceiling is a number 2. You're probably looking at top 3 that got drafted high. A top number 3. Oh, okay, he's saying a top number 3 wide receiver. Dang. He said, can't wait for this roster and coaching to get exposed. Can't effing wait. Bart Scott all day. Me either. Can't wait. I in the moment. Welcome to the show, man. I in the moment.
Yes,
I haven't seen you around here. He says, Laura, I'm pretty sure they're locked in until after the new stadium is open, which is good for stability and growth. I don't know. So I in the moment. Let me ask you this. And there's a bunch of comments I got to get through in order to get to your response. But would you buy tickets with the way the team has been operating for the last 6 years if you knew that Sean McDermott was going to still be the coach after the new stadium opened? Personally, I wouldn't. Keyshon, would you?
Would I buy tickets for a new stadium if I knew McDermott was going to have the team in the stadium, or if I knew that
if you knew Sean McDermott was still going to be the head coach of the team going into 2026 when the new stadium opens, like, you still motivated to like buy tickets and go watch that foolishness?
That'd be a tough one. And for me it would take
Depends on
Marvin Harrison to play for the Bills. It would take Malik Neighbors to play for the Bills. For me
Yeah,
to think
you need
about
the players to get you in the door.
It would take.
Right.
Yeah, McDermott himself. I wouldn't be like if it was this iteration. Josh Allen's not enough for me to go to the stadium. Like, yeah, all right. I mean, me and Matt gonna go, but I wouldn't be excited. Super excited about giving him $200 to go to the game.
Yeah. I in the moment says it's a smart way of operating, provided they get a smart and enthusiastic co-owner.
It's gotta be innovative.
Yeah. Again, I've talked to a few people about this that are in the NFL space, or have experience in the NFL space. This is not a money move for Pegula in terms of him trying to recoup anything. It's really he's putting things in place to transition. I'm willing to put wings on it for anybody that thinks they can get some free wings out of me. This is a transition beginning for Pegula. I don't think you go into the year selling the Sabres and then selling off a piece of the Bills unless you're of the mindset that, look, when we got here it was fun, but things in my life have gotten pretty serious right now, and I just don't have the mental space, I don't have the emotional space for it anymore. I'm working my way out. To me, that makes way more sense than a multi-billionaire trying to recoup $930 million. He could easily get that from any one of his other assets without even batting an eyelash. So, let's see here. Disco Dick says,
"Yo, who name? No,
yes,
no. Who name is
yes.
that? Who name is that, bro? You had the audacity to look in my eyes and say that. You had the audacity.
I had a feeling that would set you off. No,
that's why you did it just like that. You chuckled and then boom. Great.
Disco Dick says, fellas, watched you guys on the Fanatics draft coverage. Really liked your analysis. Keep up the good work. Go Bills. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate that.
Subscribe already. Stop in every once in a while. Say hi. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, I in a moment says, Laura, rightly so. He deserves some criticism, but hopefully they've learned from coming up short, which, judging how Brandon Beane has changed tack this offseason, is positive. I agree. I think in terms of changing tack, he got at least one player in here that's not, strictly culture. How else do you think he's kind of changed?
I don't. I don't. I was surprised you said you agree.
Well, I mean, like, do we think Keon Coleman is a culture pick? I don't think so.
You know what? And this is where I'm going to go with that. Keon Coleman, did you watch the what was it, the RG3 and the Ones podcast with Keon Coleman on it? Great freaking spot. A beautiful listen. I swear I would subscribe just because of it. Because I didn't know RG3 was from New Orleans. So, you know, he's from Opelousas.
I like his podcast, though. He's good.
He was, you know, Keon Coleman from Opelousas, whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, he'd ask him, they're going back. He's insulting New Orleans food. He's like, y'all don't know about food up there. This food down here. And, you know, so it's going back and forth. I mean, I loved it. I love Keon Coleman's his personality. I love, you know, like you said, you know, that Friday thing you dropped, if that's really a thing, that's not a culture pick. But what I think is going to get him through is just this. I think he's going to be the kind of guy that even though he said he could have went to LSU or a school close to home he wanted to leave, he wanted to get out of there because there was nothing there for him. He wanted to, you know, to start fresh. He didn't have a whole bunch of offers. He didn't have a ton of offers. Even as we talk right now, he's an afterthought right now on our show without even meaning disrespect. He's always been looked over, according to him. Who else has always been looked over? His quarterback.
Yep.
Get those two underdogs and that mentality together on the field. Because he said, I can't wait to get working with Josh. I can't wait. He said the fact that he handpicked me it's a privilege. He said, I'm honored. Keon Coleman, he's young. He's very young, even though he said Michigan code ain't got nothing on Louisiana code. I'm like, when you come to Buffalo, tell me how you feel when you come to Buffalo.
Yeah, that bubble code ain't gonna do it.
I don't know what Michigan code is, but you go ahead and sit by Lake Erie if you want to. Yeah, you gonna get knocked down, boy.
You need the North Face with the two zippers in the front. That joint that go all the way up
all the way up to your
face.
Yeah. But I think. And it's funny because I didn't notice, but and I'm kind of getting around. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You good? Go ahead.
RG3 asked him about. He said, well, you know, word on the street is the first thing you did after the Bills called you was you called your receiving coaches, your route running coaches. He's like, how you know that? You tapped my phone? Who told you that? He called his route. He said, yo, let's get in the lab now. He said, I'm ready to do it. We going to Buffalo. We about to do this thing. So he's serious about his craft. He's serious about route running, learning route running. Jamar Chase, he's serious about that downfield. He's serious.
Yeah.
So he said, what did he say? He said he doesn't like, you know, those little cute drills. So he said, I don't like those little cute drills, you know, with the cones and the ladders. He said, you'll never learn nothing that way. He said, you learn by going full speed with what you're going to do. He said, I might not be fast. He said, but I bet you my slants, my in routes, my drags, I'm running full speed. And it showed on the gauntlet drill that he has body control. He has hands. I think he had 4 drops all last season. 4. So Josh Allen, when we brought in Kelvin Benjamin, why? Because Josh Allen cannot throw he can't throw anticipatory.
Right.
He throws to a spot. What better to give a spot of a 6'3", 215-pound man with long arms, big hands that catches everything? He doesn't get separation, but guess what? Throw it up. The guy played basketball. The guy was a 2 guard for Michigan State. He can cram on you. He can go up there and pin your ball. The rim, I don't know if you guys know, but the rim is still 10 feet high.
Yep.
He can climb. And some of the best receivers play basketball. Cole Beasley, Stevie Johnson, Algie Crumpler, Antonio Gates, Chris Manhertz. These guys are all college basketball players. I'm willing to give him a shot. Right. So when I like I said earlier, when I piss him on about the fact we got Keon Coleman at 30, it ain't got nothing to do with him. It's because we didn't take the advantage that we could have taken for Kansas City. That's all it's about.
I mean, that sounds very positive. Steve highly disagrees. He says Keon is a cool guy. His personality and Riz is A+, but he can't separate. His skills are C and will not be one of the best wide receivers out of this draft. So, okay, hold on. So Steve, let me ask you this. So in light of hearing that he's working out with
Andre Reed, Jamar Chase,
right, all those boys. So if he does improve, are we getting some? Are we getting some wings? Like, are we putting someone? Like, are you gonna shave an eyebrow?
Some kind of culinary conversation.
Can we get some?
You know, what I'm cake. I like cheesecake. But no, you know, and this is not to say I put my stamp of approval on Keon Coleman as a player. But what I'm saying is, him as a player, when I see, Steve, what I'm trying to be careful of is when I piss them on about the Kansas City trade and the Jacksonville trade, it sounds like I'm like, look at this bull stuff that we got. Look at this bull jive. Another miss. We already know he can't separate. But guess what he did in college? Couldn't separate there either. He was productive.
But he was just like, you could see him just slapping DBs around.
That's
like,
what
get
he
out
does.
of my way.
That's what he does. And that's what he said. He said when I'm out there, I don't see you. It's just me and the ball. He said, I black out. He said, I don't even know what I did sometimes until I watch the tape. He said, everything's a routine catch for me. That one that they show where he went up and got it with one hand, he said, I don't even remember that. He said, I could have got it with two hands actually, but he said, I just thought it was a routine catch, nothing special. I didn't even feel the hit.
Wow.
So I mean, Steve could be right, I could be right. And it's not a who's right. It was just the fact that if you look at all other wide receivers in the draft that went before him, they're mostly slot guys. Even Ladd McConkey, yeah, he could play outside, but they all were productive in the slot. Right. This is the only guy until later on with the guys of Stevie. You already know who I like. You already know, not Xavier Worthy even, but the other guys, Polks and Bakers and people like that. Those are outside guys. Yeah. Keon Coleman is probably the only outside guy, the first outside guy, strictly outside guy taken outside of the top, 5, 6?
Yep.
So, I mean, let's hold on.
Brian Thomas Jr.?
No, he's a slot too. He worked,
really?
He worked a lot of slots.
Wow. Okay. Laura says, if your worry is no separation, can he make contested catches? Because it seems like he can.
Yes.
Yeah. That's pretty much what we're saying.
Caveat. See, where I am was where Steve was. Where I was where Steve is. Mm-hmm. I was envisioning this downfield speed, blow the doors off offense. But I clearly see touchdown. I clearly see now.
No, not touchdown. Rev commented. What's going on, Rev?
Oh, Rev.
Yeah, you in the house. Go ahead.
I was gonna say what I clearly see is a guy that can make hay on a intermediate offense. We're gonna run an intermediate offense, and we started the show off by saying we don't have a downfield threat. I know everybody loves Curtis Samuel, but he's not a downfield threat. He's fast, but he's not a downfield threat.
Steve, come on, man. He said you want something for him to do what? Become a real number 2? Become another Gabe Davis instead of Thomas Jr., Leggett, Wilson, Mitchell, Polk, Baker? What we talking about?
I'm not throwing Leggett in that. You had me to use Leggett. To me, Leggett is another form of Keon Coleman. He had 1 year of production.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's going to be in the league. Right. I don't know what he was in South Carolina. So
yeah,
you missed me with that one.
All right, so Rev says, what's good, fellas? Just to circle back, I wouldn't have traded with KC because I thought Worthy would be lethal in this offense.
Rev, you already know.
Did I,
Rev,
sir.
You already know. We talked about that.
Once they did, I wouldn't trade with New England if they wanted Coleman. I guess looking at the situation now, I don't think I would have either. But I think if the pick wasn't Coleman, let's say the Bills did not want Coleman. Who were you willing to take at 33 at that, or I'm sorry, 32 at that point and be happy with?
You know what? At 32, probably nobody.
Well, because Leggett went 32, so Leggett was there
probably
too.
Nobody. But
okay. So you would have still traded out.
Yeah, this is where my mind is, though.
Okay.
My mind is this. Would I rather have the New England wide receiver package or Keon Coleman? Would I rather have Polk and Baker, or would I just rather have Keon Coleman? And the answer is I'd rather have Polk and Baker. Okay. I'd rather have those two. So, no, there's nobody at 33 I would have taken, but if I had to swap with them in some way, shape, or form, which I don't trust Bean and McDermott to do, I would have taken what they did over ours.
Steve is Steving. Okay, so let me catch up here. Mm-hmm. Laura says, at Rev on G, yay. Outside looking in says, wow. Okay, so Rev is saying, hypothetically, Worthy at 28, Coleman at 32, Leggett at 33. Now, is that with the Bills picking at 33, or like how do you have that going? Bills picking
Worthy 28. Was it Leggett 32?
Leggett is no. Coleman is at 32. Leggett is at 33. That's why I'm trying to figure out like which one of these guys does he have.
I'm okay with Worthy not being there, even though I'd love to have Worthy. I like the trade back. I just don't like the compensation for the trade back. So I'm curious as what we would have got if we went straight from 28 to 33. I'm actually not curious because it would have pissed me off more.
He's saying with the Bills trading back to 37.
37?
Yeah. So we're not taking any of these guys in if we're trading back to 37.
Right. I'm okay with that. I
yeah.
really am. I'm okay with that.
So let me ask you this, and then we got to start closing up soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a ball with everybody here. This has been great. But I do have to get home and
you gotta get them tacos. 37
eat
is
late dinner.
Jalen Polk.
Taco Thursday.
So yeah, 37. Yeah, that feeds right into it. 37 is Jalen Polk, and I take that.
I think I'm with you in terms of getting like double dipping and getting two receivers that I know are gonna come in here and be able to play outside and do well.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you this: if they were to do something like that, do you think that that's a widely justifiable move, knowing that they traded Stephon Diggs and he was their number one receiver, and the guys that they're bringing in are these later round picks that would now be expected to try and pick up those, 106 receptions from last year?
I mean, you have a better shot. You have a better shot. What's the saying? You have a higher probability of hitting something with more bullets. You got to throw more darts at the board. And if I got Jalen Polk or Javon Baker competing for the number 1 or number 2A, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Because right now you're looking at, and this, I'm not going to slight Curtis Samuel, but right now you're looking at Keon Coleman, Steve Boomer Bust, and Curtis Samuel and Mac Hollins. So if Keon Coleman gets the Kyer Elam treatment, guess what? Where are we? We're screwed.
Right.
Because you don't have the capital to get anybody else, and now you're looking at Mac Hollins and Curtis Samuel as your 1 and 2. I hit this tough. That's tough for me.
So are you saying, so you think, because this is tough, like, so you're essentially saying Polk is a better receiver than Coleman or Leggett?
Polk can do. I would take Polk over Leggett. And if you didn't tell me Coleman was the guy we were taking, I would say I'd be more than happy with going Polk. If Coleman was the guy they traded back and they lost him, and I didn't know it, and honestly, I don't even know if I even cared that I knew it, because the more I study him now that he's a Bill, the warmer I'm getting. Mm-hmm. But before he was a Bill, I couldn't care less. I predicted he was going to be a Bill before we first started the show. Yeah. But guess what? I don't care, because I'm kind of jaded by Florida State wide receivers, Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman, Kelvin Benjamin.
Right.
I'm jaded. So I need you to show me something. Yeah. But you're a Bill now. But if you never told me, Keon, if there was no way I found out, and Jalen Polk, what they said at 37, the Buffalo Bills select Jalen Polk, and then anybody else at the end, Jaquan Jackson, Jamari Thrash, somebody later on in the draft. If you would have told me Jermaine Burton, Roman Wilson, I mean, these are guys that are later. You're talking about Jalen McMillan. These are guys you could have later.
Yeah. So
yeah, if you gave me 2 of those or 1 Keon Coleman, I'm taking 2 of those.
Okay. I think that would be my preference, to have 2 young receivers that can come in and duke it out for whatever spot. I mean, at this point, with where the Bills are in their offensive development, losing a guy like Stephon Diggs, if they would have drafted 2 wide receivers later, at that point I would say, you know what, screw the number 1 spot. Just go positionless receiver at that point, right?
And that's what Bean already said. We don't need a number 1 receiver. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I think this is the point that might put Steve in some glue. I think until we've seen what Keon Coleman can really do in this offense with Josh Allen throwing them the football, and we also have to give him the same amount of time. But if I got a guy on my team already that when he was drafted everybody hated him, and his name is Josh Allen, then I got to give Keon Coleman a chance. Mm-hmm. I have to. And I think at the end of the day, if we're really about all truth, no sodium, to me that's the truest thought that we could have. It's the most honest thought that we can have, is we got to just wait and see. Like, it seems like a sucky pick right now, but we said the same exact thing about Josh Allen when he was drafted, and he became the second best quarterback in the entire NFL.
This is growth on our part.
I mean, yeah, because usually we would be like, F that moment. Nah,
Right.
but
Man, take your moves, run ball, and go away.
Guess who's back?
Who?
Diddy Moist all over. Fellas, tell Judy it's time to get moist, y'all. Yes. Yo, this is the best Thursday ever. Rev, you came at the perfect time, bro. Diddy Moist all over said, what's going on?
The Diddler. The Diddler.
Oh, man. Why you left? We lost our producer. All right. We got a few comments to get to, and then I really got to run out of here.
You got to get to Taco Thursday, man.
I got to get to Taco Thursday.
I'm going to eat the rest of
Laura
canned
says
food.
Taco Thursday is blasphemy. What?
Thank you.
Why?
Thank you so much.
You falling in love with Laura already?
What is Thursday? Right. What is Thursday? He's I don't know.
Hey, listen. Lindsay said, I got something better. Fajita Friday.
Ooh.
I'll take Fajita Friday. Ain't nothing like a good fajita. I'm not going to knock that at all. All right. So, Rev says, watch Terrace Marshall get released and the Bills sign him. They could have had Worthy and Marshall, who played under Brady at LSU. What say you, sir?
I mean, hey, if Brady gets somebody he's used to and he can use, I'm all for it. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care who it is. I have no dogs in the race at this point in time. I'm more worried about the I'm not going to say it because it's the start of something else. I'm more worried about safety. But did you see? I'm going to shut up about this. Did you see that Puka Nakua's brother is about to be the defensive player of the year in the UFL? He happens to play safety. 29 years old. He was in the league before. Why not bring him in? Try him out. UFL is about to be over with.
Because we have Mike Edwards.
Good night, folks. Have a good one. he's got him pinned into the safety position. Man, I miss Jordan Poyer so bad right now.
Oh, Lindsay says talking tacos and getting moist. LMAO. I love this podcast.
End the show immediately. I was doing just good.
No, this is what you get. This is payback. Y'all know what he did to me this morning? What was it this morning? I think, yeah, it was this morning. No, it was yesterday morning.
No, yesterday morning.
Y'all know what he did to me? So y'all know how much I hate this let's ride business they be talking about because Russell Wilson is no longer in Denver. So kill that noise, right? But this man, it was a foggy morning here in Buffalo. Those of you who are here in Buffalo, y'all know, right? So I go to get in my car. It's a nice warmer morning. I'm like, man, this is such a nice day. Birds chirping, stuff like that. I go to walk up to my car. Let's ride written in the condensation on my window with a big underline and a big exclamation point next to it. That's right. I was pissed. I texted him right back. I said, you will pay for your transgressions with blood. That's how upset I was. I'm not going to kill him, but he going to feel like he died. All right.
Listen, I saw the opportunity. It was foggy. I'm sure.
Had to take it.
I'm sure anybody would walk into a car and be like, let me just go ahead and do this real quick.
Was exquisite, sir.
Yeah. Laura says, honestly, no one can predict who will succeed. Worthy is smaller and people predict injury. Keon ran slow 40 and doesn't have optimal separation. She got the dice emoji, says.
Yeah, let's
roll them.
I was gonna say let it ride, but I'm sorry. And
that's right.
Be funny.
We would have been here for a whole nother 30 minutes on that right now. You just coming out your mouth.
I got you, bro. I got you. That's right. I got you.
All right. Steve writes in, is El Charro still open? That spot was my place back in Buffalo. El Charro. I don't think
it's
so.
Open. I don't think it's open anymore.
No. I think the New Mexican spot is what, Andale, and there's
Palenque or something
Papi Grande's.
What's that place over on Eggert and Niagara Falls? Is that El Palenque or something like that? Right there in the corner.
Oh, there's that Toro place that's on Niagara Falls Boulevard near Sheridan.
Actually, no, that's that little spot that used to be.
Oh yeah, the old Denny's.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a few of those spots that popped up, but no, El Charro is not. It's not popping right now.
Come on up and try what we got.
Diddy Moist all over says, tell Junie he had a very moist show today. I noticed his drops.
I want to say your name, but I'm not gonna say it. Change your name, bro.
No, listen. I need you to come with like at least 4 comments a show, please.
No. What mindset had you?
Let's go. Lizzie says 21 more days until I arrive in Buffalo. Going for Mighty Taco. Absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary.
Taco is
there's a couple of new ones that sprung up around town too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even
the one that's on Delaware is still there. The one that's on
do not go to one on Delaware.
Sheridan, like all the way down, like near
don't go to
near
one on
ECC North.
Yep.
It's like near Worley. That one is still there. There's another one on Transit that's kind of newer. Transit in Maine.
Niagara Falls Boulevard over by that Wegmans Plaza.
Wegmans Plaza. Oh, by East Robinson. That's right. That's right. Next to the McDonald's. Yeah. So there's a few more now. There's a few more. You got.
Don't forget about the one. What is that? Hurdle, Elmwood over there. Did you say that one?
Delaware. Yeah, Delaware near
that?
Hurdle. Yep. It's right down the street. That's what Demira say. Right down the street, but it'd be like 10 blocks.
Right. That's the way.
Right. All right. So So listen. Let us know when you get in town. That'd be great. All right. So. We got to get to outside looking in's favorite part of the show. Mm-hmm. It's a little segment we like to call 90 Seconds to Fame. And
you're gonna make it because you got to get them tacos.
I'm gonna try to make it. We got a lot. All right, so I got sound. Okay, all right. Listen. Yes, over. You're probably right. I want to thank everybody that came in today. Rev, thank you for coming on. Laura, thank you for coming on. Steve, thank you for coming on. Who else we got? I'm naming names today because I just appreciate all y'all so much. Who else we got? We got Sweat. I didn't Sweat. Welcome to the show, man. I ain't read your comment. My bad, man. I promise I will get to you next time. I the moment. Thank you for coming in. Who else we have? Disco Dick. Yes. Thank you for coming in.
He or she, I don't know.
Yo, he is pissed over there right now. Dorothy, thank you for coming in. Who else we got?
Mad uncomfortable.
Rich came in today. Thank you for coming in, Rich. So if I missed anybody, I apologize. I think I just about named every name here. All right. So even if you didn't comment, thank you so much for sticking with us. We really appreciate spending this time with y'all. My English is terrible. But with that being said, please, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit that bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when we put out notifications for the content that you are looking for. All right. Now,
back on Monday.
We back on Monday next week. Okay. How many more Fridays we got?
After this one.
Okay. So two more Thursdays. So we're going back to Mondays, and outside looking in, you just won. So we're going back to Mondays starting next week, and then another week after that will be the last Thursday.
Next week will be the last. Yeah, next week's gonna be the last Thursday. So in 2 weeks from now, it'll be Monday and Friday.
Let me give them a date. So that we can be very.
I got you. We're on again. We're 13th and 17th.
Okay.
So 13th and 17th, we'll be back on Mondays and Fridays.
Okay, so starting the 17th, then we'll be back on Fridays.
Right.
Okay, and then as of the 6th, which is next Monday, we're back on Mondays for good. Okay,
make that thing ring-a-ling-a-ling. It'll tell you what we're doing.
Right. We always put out notifications, whenever we got stuff changing, things like that. So outside looking in, put a bunch of money signs. Yo, Steve, my taco's been cold, bro. I already know. I'm gonna have to eat it up when I get there. If you haven't already, if you like basketball, check out my oldest son, Junie, our producer here. He's got his own podcast, Basketball Truth and Knowledge. He's on YouTube. He shoots his shows Saturdays, for the most part, at 6:10. He does do some Wednesday shows. Go ahead and check that out. We got shorts coming. Y'all heard Keyshon say it. We got shorts coming now. They've committed to it. I'm holding them to it. Do we have a timeline?
I gotta have a subject, so it probably won't be till the season starts, till at least off season, what do you call it? Preseason.
Okay, I'm going to give them content to do so that we can get that to you sooner than
That's ironic you say that because I was going to say that that will be the shorts, but it'll be if we just pop on for whatever reason.
Well, yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah, that's different. So make sure you make that thing.
All right, Rev. You bless you, bro.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling. Dang, man. You just want to say it. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. So, so shorts coming up. So Key's going to be handling. You're going to be doing like draft stuff. Player evaluation analysis and stuff like that. And then Mac is going to be handling your fantasy stuff. He also does sports betting, which he's pretty good at. So we're going to be getting that out there for you guys too. All that stuff is going to be available on the show, but we just want to kind of parcel it out too, so that you have more content to consume. If you don't have time for long form like this, you got other stuff that you can be getting from us as well. With that being said, this is the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. And like Rico said, if you do get salty, take a sip. There's a quarter for you, Rico. That's for you, bro. Thank y'all very much for watching. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
This is Key.
And we are out.
Peace.